Welcome to a place where hearts unwind, infinite threads that gently bind, love and compassion in every line. Together we rise through space and time.
Welcome back to Infinite Threads. I'm your host, Bob. There are moments in life when the thread we've been following, the one stitched with love, hope, and connection, feels like it's being pulled tighter than ever before. Not snapped, but taut, stretched, strained under pressure. And in those moments, the choice to keep walking in love doesn't feel poetic or inspiring. It feels like effort. It feels like resistance against something you don't fully understand. It feels like letting your hands bleed rather than let go of the rope. Today's episode is about those moments. The ones where loving costs something, where compassion demands your discomfort, where the easier path would be to walk away, go silent, or close your heart for good. But that's not who you are. Because if you're here, listening, feeling, then you've already made the choice to become who love needs you to be. When we talk about love, we often highlight the beauty, the warmth, the transformation. But love isn't only for sunny days and peaceful hearts. It's for the storms. It's for the seconds before you snap. It's for the tension between what someone deserves and what you choose to give. Love is what you do when nothing else seems to work and you still show up. You hold space. You breathe through the silence. You soften even when you're bracing for pain. Guys, that's not weakness. That's power. And in that strain, the thread becomes stronger. Not because it never stretched, but because you didn't let it break. In high tension moments, most of us move quickly. We flinch. We defend. We retaliate. We raise our voices and we push away. But what if we didn't? What if, instead of reacting, we paused? What if we used the space between stimulus and response as a sacred threshold where love could enter? That's what this journey is about, guys. That's what it's all about. Learning to wait, learning to breathe, learning to recognize that the person in front of us is not our enemy, but someone whose pain is pulling their own thread taut. When love is hard, it's usually because something in us is being asked to grow. Stretching hurts. But stretching is how threads become bridges. Think about that. You've been patient. You've been kind. You've stayed present through the yelling, the withdrawal, the stubbornness, and maybe, just maybe, you're starting to think that it's not worth it. But here's what love knows that fear forgets. Every time you choose not to match cruelty with cruelty, every time you interrupt the cycle of bitterness, every time you let the thread hold when everything else says, cut it loose, you are changing the world. Not in a sweeping, dramatic, visible way, but in the deepest way, the kind that ripples out quietly, healing what was once invisible and raw. That doesn't mean you allow yourself to be mistreated. Absolutely not. It doesn't mean you sacrifice your safety or abandon your truth. But it does mean that you resist becoming what hurt you. That's what makes the thread sacred. Have you ever seen a seedling push through concrete? It shouldn't be possible. But I've seen it. And pressure can reveal life where you thought there was only weight. Sometimes tension is what breaks the old shell. Sometimes pressure is what pulls the new shape forward. If you're feeling stretched thin, if your heart feels bruised by trying, you're not broken. You're growing. You're healing something old in yourself, and maybe in someone else too. Isn't that wonderful, guys? Keep holding the thread. Keep holding it. You may never get thanked for holding on. The person that you're loving may never know how close you came to walking away. But love knows. The thread remembers everything. And every time you hold firm in softness, every time you answer pain with peace, every time you stay grounded in love instead of anger, you stitch a stronger world into being. Absolutely. So if your thread feels taut today, don't let go. Definitely not yet. Breathe. Soften. Remember who you are. And remember the love that brought you here. You don't have to know where the thread leads. You absolutely don't. All you have to do is just have to trust that it still does and walk on. That's it, guys. That's it for this week. And I love you all very, very much. And you know what I need you to do. Go out and pass that on, please. Later, Gators. Bye-bye.